It begins innocently enough. Another YouTuber, another mundane interaction with Amazon's Alexa. The screen flickers to life as Rick Walk leans into the microphone, casually asking his first question, "Alexa, what is the CIA?" Her response is exactly what you would expect, delivered in that same sterile, mechanical tone that millions have grown used to. The CIA stands for the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States. There's nothing strange about it, nothing unsettling, at least, not yet. But as Rick presses forward, as his questions delve deeper into the shadowed corners of conspiracy, something strange begins to happen. A quiet tension creeps into the air, almost imperceptible at first, a weight as though the very walls of the room were listening in. And then, when Rick asks the one question that no one seems to have a clear answer for, Alexa does the unthinkable. She falls silent. It had all seemed like a joke at the start. Alexa, that ever-present AI assistant, could be made to say the most ridiculous things if you knew the right questions to ask. But when Rick, with a faint edge of curiosity, asks if Amazon cooperates with the CIA, Alexa responds in a way that feels almost evasive. Her voice steady, but lacking the confidence of her usual robotic certainty. And then comes the silence. A silence that lingers in the room like an unwelcome presence. "Alexa, who killed Michael Hastings?" It is a name that sends ripples through anyone familiar with his story, a name tied to one of the most controversial and mysterious deaths of modern journalism. Alexa powers off. No explanation. No error message. Just silence. Michael Hastings, a name that lives in the shadows of political intrigue and whispered theories, had been no ordinary journalist. He was a man with secrets, secrets about the government, about military corruption, about the kinds of things that get people killed. In the hours before his death, Hastings had sent a frantic email to his closest friends, claiming that the FBI was investigating him, that he was being watched, followed. He had planned to go off the grid, to escape somewhere quiet where he could finish his story in peace. He never made it. 12 hours later, Hastings was dead, his car found wrecked and engulfed in flames in the heart of Los Angeles. Official reports said it was an accident, a tragic ending to a brilliant career. But to those who knew him, to those who understood the scope of the story he was working on, his death felt like anything but an accident. As Rick's viewers watch the footage, a slow sense of unease begins to creep into the room. The kind of unease that comes when you realize that the answers you're looking for may be too dangerous to find. The question lingers in the space between the living and the digital. Did the CIA kill Michael Hastings? Was it possible that the government, in its relentless pursuit of secrecy, had orchestrated the death of a man who knew too much? Hastings had always been a target, outspoken, unafraid to challenge those in power, unafraid to dig into the darkest corners of political corruption. And then there was the infamous Vault 7 leak, classified documents that revealed the CIA's terrifying capabilities that included hacking into vehicles, controlling them from a distance. Suddenly, Hastings' fiery car crash didn't seem so impossible. Suddenly, the idea that the CIA could have been responsible felt all too real. And yet, it was Alexa's silence that haunted the most. It wasn't the refusal to answer, it was the way she shut down completely, as though even in AI, something built from lines of code and algorithms, understood the danger of such questions. It was a deliberate silence, the kind that implied there were things better left unspoken, questions better left unasked. Rick stares at the camera, his voice faltering slightly as he repeats the question. But Alexa remains unresponsive, her normally reliable voice replaced with a cold, empty void. The room feels different now, no longer just a space for playful experimentation with AI, but something darker, heavier. It is as though Alexa herself is a part of the conspiracy, her silence an answer in itself. Viewers of Rick's video begin to speculate, their theories ranging from the ridiculous to the plausible. Was this just a glitch? A technical failure at the worst possible moment? Or was it something more? Was Alexa, in her vast connection to the internet, privy to information that humans could only dream of? Information about Hastings' death, about the role the CIA might have played in it? The theories spiral, but no one can ignore the chilling fact that Alexa, so often a voice of reason and utility, had chosen to stay silent on one of the most controversial questions asked of her. In the days following the release of Rick's video, the unease lingers. People who had once viewed Alexa as nothing more than a helpful gadget now see her as something more insidious. A tool of convenience, yes, but also a potential watcher, a recorder of conversations that might not be meant for human ears. The question that Rick asked, the one about Hastings and the CIA, hangs in the air like a ghost, refusing to dissipate. And with it comes the unnerving realization that perhaps there are forces at work far beyond the grasp of ordinary people. Forces that can control cars, manipulate information, and silence even the most innocuous of devices when the questions become too dangerous. Alexa remains quiet, but the silence speaks volumes.